Today I will be examining some similarities and differences between paganism and Christianity, specifically in the early days. In order to begin examining this topic, we must first establish what pagans and Christians are. From there we can investigate ways in which the two are similar and ways in which the two are different. As we can see, Christianity is clearly based on the teachings of Jesus and the Bible, and it stems from Judaism. The word pagan itself is often thought of quite negatively, but really is an umbrella term used to categorize all other religions of the time except for Christianity and Judaism. In the early days, everything in your life was dictated by religion and ruled by religious rituals. Politics and religion went hand in hand because church and state were not separate. When introducing oneself, your location and religion were one and the same. So if a person is from Rome, they would worship the Roman gods. Religion wasn't just something you do on Sundays or one and done, but rather a lifestyle that involved all aspects of life. Christianity is a monotheistic religion, while not all but many of the pagan cults are polytheistic. The Christian Old Testament and the Jewish Torah begin with the creation of the world and go through what the people are expected to do, history, and prophesize of a coming Messiah that will save the souls of man. The New Testament details the life of Jesus the Messiah, his teachings, and death, which make up the Gospels, then also detail how the Gospel is shared and spread and what is expected of Christians. The Bible declares that Christians are to go out and make more Christians, meaning it relies on conversion for its population to grow. It differs from other religions based on the idea that a Christian must make a choice to participate, rather than be born into it. The term pagan has really developed a negative connotation and is associated quite negatively or with dark magic. Pagan comes from the word paganus in Latin and means a rustic country dweller. The term wasn't properly adopted until the Renaissance period and was used to refer to all other religions aside from Christianity and Judaism. Before pagan was used, the umbrella term was Hellene, which was a Greek term referring to the Hellas people to set them apart from the Christian movement coming into the East. In the chapter from the book Between Pagan and Christian, the author discusses Paul's travels to Greece found in the book of Acts in the Bible. The author goes on to explain that Paul was met with the Hellenic people of Greece and their idols, and the religion that they practiced there. Paul took an unnamed god statue and used it to tell about the Christian God. Pagan cults and Christians have several similarities, but to be able to discuss them all in depth, we would need a much longer time frame. In my research, I found that in both pagan cults and Christianity there are specific places of worship. For example, in Egypt, the temple is the place of worship, dedicated to a specific god or goddess. In Christianity, there are churches where people come together as one body and one flesh to worship Christ. The difference is that only pharaohs and priests could go into the temple in Egypt, but anybody can go to a church, as stated very explicitly in 1 Corinthians. As Dr. King states in one of his papers, both pagan cults and Christians are offered some sort of cleansing, and Christianity is through the blood of Jesus shed on the cross. Many times in pagan religions, such as the Greek and Romans, the ritual of cleansing was done with animal sacrifices, ritualistic washing, shrines, and prayer to a specific god or deity. The final similarity to discuss is the idea that both Christianity and pagans are promised a happy future for the faithful. In Christianity, followers of the religion are promised an eternal paradise after death, where the streets are made of gold, and there is no sickness or suffering. In Norse religion, the faithful that have been deemed worthy by the god Odin go to Valhalla, where they dwell with him after death. While it was somewhat hard to find true similarities, it was very easy to find differences between pagan cults and Christianity. The most striking difference I found was the idea of free will. In Christianity, followers have a choice to follow the teachings of God or to go against it, and they will always have that choice. In many pagan cults, as discussed earlier, it is something you are born into and are so involved in everyday life, there is no choice but to accept it. That is what made Christianity so appealing in some regards. In the Ten Commandments, Commandment number 2 declares that no one should worship an idol. The more crusading a religion is, the more it absorbs. We see this evidence not only in Christianity but also Islam when it comes onto the scene. These pagan cults were centered around nationality and where you're from, but Christianity was something anyone could join no matter their status in the world or where they're from. In this presentation, I discussed the true meaning of paganism and Christianity and where their origins are from. I discussed ways in which they are similar and different, such as their offerings of an afterlife or the use of idols. All in all, Christianity and paganism are very intertwined in each other's histories and offer a distinct but similar history. Here is my bibliography of all the resources used.